Hear that creak in the hallway? Someone just grabbed their phone, heart pounding, to check their Ring camera at 3 a.m. Outside, everything's dark and silent, but the fear is loud. What's lurking out there? Why do so many get drawn in by the mystery of the so-called witching hour? Is it just nerves and shadows, or is there something more? That drive to know what's really out there keeps us up at night, staring at glowing screens, hoping to find answers, yet dreading what we might see. Step into a normal home these days, and you'll most likely spot a sleek black device perched above the front door. That's a Ring camera, and it's become almost as common as doorbells and porch lights. You might not notice it at first, but once you know what you're looking for, you'll see these cameras everywhere. Above garages, tucked near backyard gates, even pointing down driveways. But why have they popped up in so many places? And how do they actually work? Let's break it down. The biggest draw of Ring cameras is their ability to let you see what's happening outside your home, anytime, from anywhere. At the heart of this device is a high-definition video lens. This tiny lens captures crisp footage day or night, rain or shine. Imagine you're sitting on your couch. Suddenly your phone buzzes. You tap open the Ring app, and in under a second, you're looking at a live video stream from your front porch, clear enough to see every ripple in a puddle and every blade of grass moving in the wind. It's like having eyes outside, even when you're 100 miles away. But there's more than just video. Ring cameras have powerful motion detection built in. These sensors are always awake, scanning for signs of movement in their field of view. When the device notices something, it doesn't wait. Right away, you get an alert, a distinct ping you can't help but notice. Sometimes, it's a delivery driver dropping off a package. Other times, maybe it's someone wandering a little too close to your car. There's comfort in knowing your camera's not sleeping, even when you are. One thing Ring really highlights is two-way audio. The camera isn't just watching, it can listen and talk too. Inside is a tiny microphone and a speaker. So when you get an alert and tap the microphone icon, your voice comes through the camera outside. You might say, "Hey, can I help you?" Or, "Please leave the package by the door." It's a weird, futuristic superpower, talking to people outside while you're safe and cozy inside, or even when you're away from home. Now, think about where these cameras are used. Most folks want one right by their front door. It's the busiest spot. You get packages, food deliveries, neighbors stopping by, but other spots matter too. People stick Ring cameras in garages, watching over bikes and tools, or by the backyard to keep an eye on pets and play sets. Some go even further and put one on the driveway, so they can see every car or stranger that approaches the house. Let's see how this plays out in real life. It's a Monday afternoon. Sarah checks her phone and sees her Ring camera's blue light blinking. 20 seconds later, a video alert shows her son safely home from school, key in hand. On Thursday morning, Mr. Patel next door gets an alert from his garage camera. Turns out, a raccoon tried to tiptoe in for a snack. By Saturday, Kim wakes up to a Ring alert at 3 a.m. The footage shows headlights sweeping across her driveway as a car turns around. Each moment, big or small, gets captured and shared. The Ring app ties it all together. This mobile app acts like your security control center. It stores clips from your cameras, lets you watch live videos, and even lets you share funny or suspicious moments with friends and neighbors. When you get notifications, they show up with a preview, like a text-ready thumbnail. At 3 a.m., when the rest of the world is sleeping, one glance at your app tells you if that noise you heard was just a raccoon, a delivery, or something you need to actually worry about, and you don't even need to get out of bed. But what really makes Ring cameras so popular is the idea of 24/7 surveillance, constant, always-on peace of mind. Before these devices, you might have wondered what happened outside your house while you were gone. Now, you just swipe your phone and check the history. Did your neighbor really borrow your package off the porch, or did the mailman just leave it behind the plant? Ring keeps a video timeline so you can scroll back through days, even weeks, if needed. The benefits are clear. A couple in San Diego found out about a recurring package thief thanks to their Ring camera. They could show the video to police and finally stop the thefts. A teenager in Houston used the camera's two-way audio to scare off someone lurking near her mailbox. And a grandma in Ohio talks to her visiting grandkids through her garage camera, reminding them to come inside for lunch. These stories are everywhere, and they show how much daily life has changed since these cameras appeared on the scene. To get a sense of just how real this is, listen to the stories shared online. There's the family in Florida who caught a late-night prankster, ketchup and all, on video and turned a mystery into a neighborhood joke. Or the construction worker who left his lunch on the porch, only to watch a squirrel drag it away, all in high definition. The laughter, relief, and every now and then genuine fear are all parts of daily life now that nearly every moment is recorded. But with all the convenience, there are things you need to think about, especially your privacy. Where do those video clips go? Ring lets you store videos in the cloud, but you get to set your preferences. Some people like saving footage for just a few days, others keep it for months. There are also privacy zones you can set up, like blocking your neighbor's windows from your camera's view so you're not accidentally recording more than you mean to. It's all there in the app's settings, and it's worth taking a little time to adjust things just right. Another thing people ask, is it safe for Ring cameras to be connected to the internet all the time? The answer is yes, mostly. Ring uses strong encryption and passwords, but it's still good practice to turn on two-factor authentication and keep your software updated. Just like with any smart device, you're always balancing the pluses and minuses, extra peace of mind, but also a little more to pay attention to. What's interesting is how these cameras are changing neighborhoods too. Some communities even create private groups to share strange sightings or spread the word if something goes missing. Imagine Jill texts her neighbor, "Did you see that guy last night on your Ring?" Suddenly there's a neighborhood watch without anyone having to leave their house. It makes people feel more connected and more aware, turning a row of homes into a digital community, all watching out together. It all comes together into one simple truth. Ring cameras turn anyone into their own security guard, able to watch over what matters most, day or night. The technology keeps getting better, with wider views, brighter night vision, and smarter motion sensors. You can even connect extra lights or smart locks for more control. It's like building your own digital fortress without having to pay a small fortune or hire a guard dog. But as amazing as these cameras are, things get a whole lot more intense once the sun goes down. Activity at the front door takes on a new meaning in the darkness. Every sound and every shadow is heightened. And when it's 3 a.m. and your phone buzzes, that's when the real questions start. The ones that go beyond just technology. Why does something as simple as a late-night notification send our hearts racing? The answer might surprise you, because sometimes it's not about what you see, but what you imagine you might see. And the late-night world of Ring cameras becomes a stage for all our fears and stories. But that's not even the strangest part. Picture it. You're dead asleep. The house is still, dark, maybe there's a low hum from the fridge. Suddenly, your phone blares or vibrates or glows on your nightstand. It's a Ring camera alert. Your eyes snap open. Your heart picks up speed. Without thinking, you grab the phone, thumb already swiping to unlock. There's a fresh video clip. Something just tripped your outdoor camera at 2:57 a.m. That late-night buzz is a scene repeated thousands of times every night in homes all over the world. But what really sets it off? Plenty of people think Ring cameras only pick up big, scary things, strangers on the porch or someone lurking near the garage. But honestly, most alerts are a lot less sinister. Still, each one feels urgent in the darkness. Let's start with the classic, motion alerts. Ring cameras don't care if it's a person, a fox, or a foggy gust of wind. They're always looking for anything moving in their sightline. That can mean a big deal, like catching someone sneaking up your sidewalk. But much more often, it's the neighborhood cat darting between bushes, a delivery at the wrong time, or your own kid coming home late. The instant you see the notification, your brain starts guessing, is this the alert I've been dreading, or just another wild bunny caught on film? Sometimes these alerts turn you into a detective, pausing the video, zooming in on blurry shapes, flipping through security camera apps trying to compare angles. Melissa shared a story where, after a week of getting notified every night at 3 a.m., she finally caught the culprit, a possum making its nightly rounds. She actually started recognizing its walk. Now she calls it Midnight Murray and keeps an eye out for its cameos. It goes to show that sometimes the routine mystery becomes a little local legend right in your own yard. False alarms are next. They're way more common than you'd think, and they're a mixed bag. Sometimes you get spooked for nothing, a story as old as night. One time, Marissa got a dozen notifications around midnight. She was convinced someone was casing her car. Turns out it was a tree branch swinging. Her relief was huge, but she also felt kind of silly for worrying so much. Then there's the time when Tom's phone blew up at 3:15 a.m. Stomach flipping, he tapped the video and burst out laughing. His little Yorkie was weaving across the porch, camera picking up every tail wag. Sometimes your worst fear just ends in a chuckle, and that's not a bad thing. And even though it's embarrassing sometimes, people swap these stories all the time. At work, at school pickups, online late at night. If you search Reddit or neighborhood forums, you'll find thread after thread. Got another false alarm last night? Turns out it was a raccoon on a mission. One guy, Andrew, posted a clip called Ghost on the Porch. When you watched it, it was just steam from a dryer vent floating eerily past the lens. The comments were full of people saying, "Wow, my camera caught a ghost last week too." Environmental triggers add even more confusion. Heavy rain or a sudden wind gust can be picked up as movement, especially if you've got sensitive settings. Bonnie once woke to 3 ring alerts during a thunderstorm. Heart pounding, she watched her backyard camera replay, just lightning flashes and rain slaps on the deck. For her, relief came a little slower, but she was annoyed the camera couldn't figure it out. Even spiders have become unintentional stars on Ring cameras, their legs huge and shadowy when they crawl over the lens. It's both creepy and oddly fascinating. Lots of users start reaching out for solutions, tweaking their camera's sensitivity or moving sensors away from trouble spots, like streetlights or swaying trees. But you quickly learn you can never outsmart nature completely. One day it'll be a gusty storm, the next day, just a plastic bag blowing past the driveway. Some folks even decorate their camera angles just to block out the busiest zones, like taping up a piece of cardboard so they don't get a ping every time a neighbor jogs by. But what about the sounds? That's where things get wild. The notification tone slices right through the dark, sharper somehow at night. Maybe it's the way silence sits heavier at 3 a.m. Every ping or buzz jolts you more. Your body tenses, adrenaline spikes, and you feel wide awake in seconds. Some folks say their hands shake when they check. It's not so much the fear of what's out there, it's the fear of not knowing. Sound can play tricks on your mind too. If you're lying in bed and you hear the high-pitched chime, it might seem 10 times louder than during the day. You notice how quickly your partner's breathing changes, or how your pet lifts its head too, sensing your tension. Even the way the phone vibrates on the wooden nightstand can sound ominous, thumping through the quiet house like a secret code only you can hear. The smallest details, creaks in the floor, rustle of curtains, even the sound of your own heartbeat, suddenly feel magnified while you stare at your phone. And the cycle repeats itself almost every night. 1 minute you're asleep, and the next, you're squinting at a glowing screen, trying to make sense of a blurry figure caught in the porch light. Sometimes your spouse rolls over and asks, "What was that?" You both hold your breath, waiting for something to jump out on the video. Even if it's nothing, you still talk about it the next day at work or over breakfast. Sound familiar? All of this messes with your peace of mind in real ways. Most people say their number one concern is safety, of course. But after enough late-night alerts, some admit they start to feel on edge for no reason. It's a weird push and pull, knowing you're safer because you have the system, yet sometimes feeling even more nervous when the alerts keep firing off. You might find yourself developing new routines, like double-checking locks or peeking through the curtains before going back to bed, just because your brain won't let you relax until you're absolutely sure everything's fine. Not every interruption is just nerves, though. There are genuine moments when Ring cameras help, and they're the stories folks like to share. Like the time a Ring camera caught a would-be thief snooping near a mailbox, and police raced out before anything happened. Or when parents spotted a lost dog thanks to a motion trigger and rescued it at 1:30 a.m. Those moments make every false alarm worth it in their minds. Yet for every story like that, there are hundreds more about shadows, headlights passing, raccoons wandering in for snacks, or just a spider getting too close. Over time, you start to learn your system's patterns. Maybe you adjust sensitivity or change notification settings so you're not woken by every gust of wind. But that quick jolt of fear or curiosity never fully goes away. There's always this small part of you that's hooked on the mystery. One night, after the third false alarm, Marcus found himself laughing out loud, even though he'd been scared stiff just minutes before. His laugh woke his wife, and she teased, "Let me guess, the mystery ghost was just another moth?" That's how it goes. Small scares, big laughs, a little more confidence with each weird video clip. Still, the biggest thing that stands out is the emotional roller coaster. Every late-night notification can yank you from dreamland to high alert at lightning speed. Sometimes you're scared, sometimes annoyed, sometimes actually relieved to see nothing but a neighborhood cat strutting its stuff. Eventually, you can't help but wonder why you react so strongly to every little alert. Is it just the dark and silence making everything seem scarier? Or is there something about the hour itself? Too late to think clearly? Too early to ignore the urge to play detective? Those questions stick with you, especially when you start to hear stories about what happens on Ring cameras at 3 a.m. Stories that make you wonder if your experiences are as normal as you think, because that's when things can get truly strange, and not just because of a camera's motion sensor. So what really shows up on Ring cameras at the so-called witching hour? The next part might give you chills. The clock blinks to 2:59 a.m., and your Ring camera sits in its quiet, high-tech silence outside the door. Everyone inside is asleep. The house seems to hold its breath. At exactly 3 a.m., another motion alert flashes on your phone. Why is it that this specific hour, 3 in the morning, has become tangled up in ghost stories, internet myths, and spine-tingling tales caught on camera? Let's start with the big urban legends. Social media loves a creepy story, and there's no shortage of them centered on Ring camera footage at 3 a.m. You might have heard about the Shadow Man, a dark, blurry figure caught pacing across driveways at the witching hour. Or the viral tale of the woman in white, drifting past a row of mailboxes, vanishing right before the streetlight. Each year, dozens of new myths pop up, whispered rumors of ghostly faces peering into cameras, odd lights swirling in an empty yard, or the mysterious ring of the doorbell followed by no one on screen. But what's fact, and what's fueled by our fear of the unknown? A few of these stories actually have roots in real footage. Take, for instance, the famous clip from Wisconsin. A family kept getting alerts from their Ring camera parked by the garage. They reviewed the footage and spotted a pale figure moving in the fog. Internet sleuths jumped in, spinning stories of spirits. But when they looked closer, it turned out to be a deer. Legs tangled in web, pale fur gleaming under the porch light, gliding through the mist. The real story was less spooky, but still pretty magical. Then there's the case of the unexplainable noise. One night, Eric woke to a wild, echoing laugh on his camera's audio feed. It sounded human, but nobody was there. He posted it online. The responses rolled in. Some claimed ghosts, others said raccoons, while a few guessed late-night pranksters. Eric kept checking his video every night for weeks, but never caught the culprit. "It's not the ghost that keeps me up," he joked. "It's the not knowing." A lot of people get spooked by odd sights that only make sense with a little digging. Jen's 3 a.m. video, which went viral on a neighborhood app, showed a stuttering white blur floating along her path. Was it a spirit or an alien visitor? In daylight, the mystery unraveled. It was a spider spinning silk, the dewdrops on its thread creating bizarre light patterns, glowing in the infrared camera. Jen was relieved, though part of her missed the excitement of believing in something otherworldly for a bit. Some stories are harder to shake. Once in a while, a viewer catches something truly strange. Sarah's clip from last winter showed a hunched figure darting through her yard at 3:10 a.m. Too fast, too odd-shaped for a normal animal. Friends voted. Some said raccoon, some were sure it was a person, others thought maybe a runaway robot vacuum. Sarah never found out, but she couldn't help replaying the footage every night for weeks, looking for clues. But most nightly scares end with simple, logical explanations. That ghostly light? Just a bug crawling across the lens? Those mysterious eyes peering in the window? A neighbor's porch light bouncing off a mailbox? People share their wildest Ring moments online, but when you dig in, shadows and tricks of light explain almost everything. Still, you shouldn't brush off every weird moment. Last year, the Thompson family's Ring camera caught footage of two strangers prowling their street in the early hours. The video gave police a real lead, and the whole neighborhood relaxed, knowing they had documented proof if danger showed up again. Sometimes the unexplained is more about real threats than ghosts or legends. To dig a little deeper, let's look at another Ring camera story that shook an entire online forum. In Texas, a user named Maya shared footage of eerie chanting echoing faintly through her front yard at 3:14 a.m. Chills filled the comments. Listeners slowed down the clip. One person swore they heard the phrase, "Let me in." Theories flew. Was it spectral, a prank, or something else? It turned out that, a block away, a sleepwalking teenager had started singing to himself as he wandered down the street. He was found safe, and the mystery was solved. What sounded terrifying in the dark made almost perfect sense in the morning. But Maya said she'd never unhear that ghostly song floating through the humid night air. To really understand why these moments can be so unsettling, let's pause and imagine the sensory details. Think about the hush of your house at 3 a.m. Just the low tick of the heater, maybe a far-off car. You're half awake, staring at grainy footage. The beams of the porch light make everything look washed out and shadowy. Every movement jumps or blurs. Even a harmless neighborhood cat looks monstrous when the camera's night vision catches its glowing eyes. It's easy for your heart to race, your mind to fill in the blanks with things that go bump in the night. Sometimes it's not even what you see, but how you feel. One user, Olivia, described watching her own Ring footage after a motion alert, only to realize it was her husband coming home late. She laughed it off, but she remembered how her body froze before she checked, her hands clammy, imagining something far scarier. She said, "Honestly, I think the scariest thing is how your mind runs wild. The real monsters are in your head, not on the porch." But let's not ignore those times when Ring cameras do more than stir up superstitions. Sometimes they're on the front line against real danger. Ask Mr. Patel, who got an alert at 2:59 a.m. His footage showed a figure quietly testing car doors along the street. He called the police, and thanks to the video, officers traced down a string of car break-ins that had plagued his area for months. No darkness or shadowy legend, just a neighbor helping catch a thief, all because he checked his camera at the right time. Now, if you're getting spooked and want to get a grip on your own Ring footage, here's a little more advice. When you're reviewing clips, change up playback speeds. Sometimes details that are invisible at normal speed jump out when you slow it down. Try listening with headphones. Quiet background sounds might reveal clues, like wind versus voices, or animal scuffling you'd miss on tiny phone speakers. Don't forget to actually walk outside when you notice something odd. Sometimes seeing the real scene with your own eyes makes everything far less spooky. And remember, you're part of a giant digital neighborhood. If you're puzzled, ask your neighbors if they saw the same thing. Sometimes the answers you get are just as fun as the footage. Like a neighbor admitting it was their child's glowing Halloween balloon, or a retired guy who explains that certain birds sing at midnight all spring. Finally, why do these 3 a.m. mysteries stick with us the way they do? Maybe it's the darkness, the time of night when we're most vulnerable. Maybe it's because the world feels so different when everyone else is asleep. Or maybe, deep down, we like the feeling of not knowing for sure. It's that mix of fear, curiosity, and wild imagination that keeps us tuning into our cameras night after night, just in case something incredible or impossible happens again. But what happens after that alert wakes you up? Next, we'll explore the real effects these midnight moments can have on our nerves, our sleep, and our peace of mind. So let's dig into just how these 3 a.m. scares change us, from the moment our phone buzzes till the next time we close our eyes. You hear the alert. It's 3:07 a.m., and without even really being awake, your hand scrambles for the phone. Glancing at the blue-lit screen, you blink yourself alert. The video clip is up. Your heart's going way too fast for the middle of the night. You watch, hoping it's nothing, and most times it is. But what about those times it isn't? That jolt is more than just a blip on a phone. Checking Ring cameras late at night can start to change how you feel, day and night. After one too many jump scares from blurry footage, people start talking about feeling constantly on edge, a creeping sense of paranoia. Maybe it's the darkness, or maybe it's the way low-res shadows look like threats. You spot a moving blob, your brain shouts, "Alert! Danger!" Even when logic says it's just wind or a mouse. Anxiety isn't always rational, but those late-night moments feed it. Jenny remembers last winter when she started checking her Ring camera every night, sometimes more than once, even if there were no alerts. She says, "I knew it was silly, but after that one night a stranger walked by, I couldn't stop myself." She started imagining all kinds of things lurking just out of view. Her friends joked, "Jenny's the neighborhood detective," but inside she just felt tense. It's not just nerves, it's sleep. You finally manage to ignore the urge to check, only for your mind to spin stories. Did I just hear a noise outside? Was that a shadow on the porch? The adrenaline from even a harmless alert can wreck your night's rest. Once awake, your brain stays on high alert for hours. That's not just an inconvenience, it's a real hit to your health. Researchers say poor sleep can boost stress hormones, fog your brain the next morning, and even mess with your immune system. Michelle, a mom of two, recalls when she kept her Ring camera notifications on full blast after a burglary on her street. "I wanted to be careful," she says, "but I got twitchy. Even after fixing the camera angles, I just didn't sleep right." In the end, she decided to turn off non-critical notifications at night. She felt nervous at first. What if she missed something important? But after a week, she was sleeping better and feeling less anxious. Sometimes you get stuck in a loop. Each notification feels urgent, so you check your phone again and again. Is it another false alarm? A real danger? The habit builds fast, turning a tool for safety into a source of constant worry. This hypervigilance, always being on guard, can wear people down. You become the kind of person who listens for every little creak, jumps at every ping, and checks the porch camera before you even leave your bed in the morning. It's exhausting. Then comes the loneliness. Fear can make your world feel small. Taylor admits she stopped letting her kids play outside after dark because every alert, even the silly ones, made her panic. She avoided late-night walks, skipped backyard barbecues, and tuned out invites from friends. She says, "I never felt totally safe, even when nothing ever happened." For a while, her porch light and Ring camera were the only things standing between her and the spooky dark, until she realized she was missing out on too much life. But not everyone reacts the same way. Jason, who's always been the cool head type, started getting anxious after a neighbor's car was broken into. He didn't sleep for days, got obsessed with reviewing every camera clip, and was quick to get snappy at work. "You don't realize what it does until your nerves are shot," he says. After some honest talks with his family, they adjusted their settings so the late-night world didn't always spill over into their home. Sometimes the impact stretches even deeper into your life than you'd think. Picture this. You wake up in the morning after one of those restless nights, groggy, irritable, maybe a headache pounding behind your eyes. Breakfast feels rushed, coffee never seems hot enough, and every little thing gets under your skin. Your partner gives you a worried look when you snap at the smallest question. You catch yourself wondering, am I really this grumpy? Or is it just because I checked the camera at 3 a.m.? It's not only you who suffers. The tension floats through the house, and even the family pets seem on edge. At work or school, the effects follow you. One teacher reported her students could always tell when her sleep had been bad. "I'd be crabby and scattered. I spent half the class thinking about whether I locked the door or if someone was on my porch." She started to realize it wasn't just the alerts themselves, but the whole sense of being responsible for catching every little thing all night long. And for some people, that sense of responsibility grows into guilt. After a neighbor's package was stolen, local parents in one neighborhood all started sharing clips in a group chat. "It got out of hand fast," one dad admitted. "Nobody wanted to miss something. I'd wake up at 4 a.m. and scroll through everyone's feeds just in case." The tone of the group changed from friendly to suspicious, with people arguing about whose camera angles were best or who should have called the cops. What started as safety ended up as stress and strained friendships. Kids are particularly sensitive to the emotional temperature at home. When parents become glued to surveillance apps, kids can pick up on that fear. Pediatric psychologist Dr. Lucy Hernandez explains, "We see a ripple effect. If a family is constantly checking security footage, children often develop sleep problems, new fears of the dark, or separation anxiety. They feel the world is less safe, even if nothing ever happens." The ripple effects can carry into your day. Lost sleep and extra stress can make you grumpy, forgetful, or jumpy. More than a few families joke about having second breakfast just to fight off early morning crankiness after a bad night's sleep. Kids notice too. They see parents up at odd hours, checking screens instead of snuggling under the covers. One mom confessed, "My son started asking if there were monsters outside just because I checked the camera all the time." It's a cycle that can change the feel of your whole house. So what can you do? Start by asking why you're checking. Is it real fear, habit, or curiosity? Experts say mindfulness helps. Notice the urge, but don't always give in. Leave your phone in another room or use Do Not Disturb mode for the deepest stretch of the night. Having a partner or friend you trust to talk about your worries helps you put things in perspective too. If you need the camera for specific security reasons, set strict filters on nighttime alerts. Only let the big stuff through. Someone crossing into your yard? Okay, alert. Every moth or tossing branch? Let it go. Gradually, your brain relearns what's worth waking up for and what's just normal nighttime life outside. There's no shame in feeling jittery. It's natural to jump when tech gives you urgent messages in the dark, but knowing it's not just you and seeing how others manage makes a big difference. Many people realize that the more they count on their cameras to spot trouble, the more they trust themselves to decide what's important and what's just background noise. Eventually, the point is to let technology help you, not haunt you. Ring cameras and all their late-night alerts are meant for peace of mind, not to steal it away. The real challenge is striking the balance, keeping your family safe, but also keeping your brain calm and your sleep sweet. Because at the end of the day, feeling secure isn't just hardware and alerts. It's about having confidence that you can handle whatever the night sends your way, camera or not. Still, that brings us back to the question millions ask after a night of fitful sleep and blurry late-night videos. Should you really check that camera at 3 a.m., or is there a better way? Let's dive into what you can do next. All right, you've been through all the wild stories, the heart-pounding alerts, and the sleepless nights. But you're still left staring at your phone on the nightstand wondering, am I helping myself by checking my Ring camera at 3 a.m. or just making things harder? Let's get to the heart of it and see what helps you and what might actually hurt. First, there's no denying the impact. Every late-night alert is a shot of adrenaline. Sometimes it keeps you safe, like when someone's lurking where they shouldn't be. But way more often, it just interrupts your rest and leaves you feeling jittery. The more you get drawn in by mystery shadows and weird porch noises, the harder it is to drift back to sleep. That price, lost rest, crabbiness in the morning, tension you don't need, can add up fast. Some folks don't even notice the toll at first, but after the umpteenth time you wake up tired or snap at your kids for no reason, you realize there's a real cost. Now, let's look at what happens when those alerts are false alarms. You know the ones. It's the dog or a moth or a gusty wind. You rush to check the footage, maybe even tiptoe to the window, only to find nothing at all. Over time, you may start doubting your camera system by thinking it's too sensitive, or you might get mad at yourself for always taking the bait. Some families even start sleeping with one eye open so they don't miss an alert. But that means your system is running your life instead of making it easier. Then, there are the real risks. Storming out the front door at 3 a.m. to investigate an alert could put you in danger. You might forget it's just an alert, not a guarantee something bad is happening. And sometimes, confronting someone who doesn't expect you can escalate things quickly. You don't want your need for control to backfire and create a new problem. So, what can you actually do to get the best of both worlds, staying safe and still holding on to peace of mind? Here are a few steps I've learned from experts and from stories just like yours. Step 1. Set up your alerts carefully. Dive into your Ring app and pick which kinds of movement will wake you up. Don't let every passing car or flapping branch break your sleep. Choose the most important zones, like doorways or garage entrances, so you get the alerts that really matter. Step 2. Pause before reacting. When that 3 a.m. buzz jolts you awake, take a single breath. Check the video, but don't rush outside or make calls unless there's unmistakable danger. A moment of calm can save you a lot of drama later. Step 3. Adjust your tech to fit your habits. Use Do Not Disturb settings for certain hours or keep your phone across the room so alerts don't wake you unless it's an emergency. Some people disable notifications entirely from midnight to 6 a.m., relying on special sound alerts only for real threats. That way you're not getting up for every small thing, but you're not missing something serious either. Step 4. Practice digital boundaries. Remember, you're allowed to take a break from watching the world all night long. Build trust in your neighborhood. Talk to your family about what counts as a must-check emergency, and put your device down after bedtime. Lots of people report feeling less anxious after just a week of better phone boundaries. Step 5. Review your camera settings during the day. Don't just learn the tech when you're half asleep. Double-check motion zones, clean the lens, and test alerts in daylight. The more you know, the less you'll worry about what you might miss in the dark. It's also smart to talk over scary moments after the fact. Sometimes just sharing how a false alarm made you feel can lighten your mood and break the cycle of anxiety that keeps you in guard mode all night. Remind yourself and your household that surprises will happen, but you're prepared for the ones that truly matter. Most of all, remember why you got the camera in the first place. It wasn't to be frightened by every blip or to lose sleep over every fuzzy shadow. It was to keep your family safe, to have an extra sense of security and a little more confidence when something really does go wrong. Checking your camera at 3 a.m. is a choice. You can empower yourself with better tools, smarter habits, and a calmer mindset. It's okay to look after your home. You just don't want that habit to become the source of your worry. Sometimes what's outside the door is less scary than what our imaginations dream up in those quiet, late hours. So next time you wake to an alert, remember, not everything outside is danger in disguise. Some nights, it's just a raccoon on a snack run. You get to decide what matters, when to look, and most importantly, when it's time to just let yourself sleep. Because the best kind of safety isn't just about seeing every movement outside, it's knowing you can handle it, whatever the hour. And maybe, just maybe, you'll finally get a good night's sleep. But here's the part that stays with you. The unknown at 3 a.m. will always tug at your curiosity. We may never fully know what's sneaking around out there in the dark, but with a little wisdom, a little caution, and a lot of calm, we can face it without losing our peace.